Viewers of my YouTube channel should be pretty familiar with Baltic watches. I reviewed quite a few different models from this French watch company. Now there is a new limited edition of 3 different dials, and I have one of them in front of me. This model is part of their Prismic Stone Dial Collection, and I think it's pretty unique and a cool watch. So first let's talk about the case and the dimensions. This model comes in a 36mm case diameter. It has about a 44mm lug-to-lug distance, and these cases are quite thin, 9.2mm in case height, with the lug opening of 20mm. The case structure of this watch is very interesting. It features 3 distinctive elements. There is the middle core that's made out of grade 5 titanium. Then you have the bezel and the case back that are made out of stainless steel. And the lugs on this watch are also made out of stainless steel. The finishes on the case are excellent. You have a combination of high polish as well as satin finishes. There's a crown at the 3 o'clock position. It's not a screw down crown, it's a simple push-pull style crown. Since this is a manual wind watch, I'm actually glad that this doesn't have a screw down crown, because unscrewing the crown each time you need to wind the watch can get a little annoying. What I'm not a huge fan of is the fact that this crown is not signed. For whatever reason, Baltic decided not to sign this crown with their logo, so it's a plain crown. It is also slightly recessed into the case. If you have giant fingers, you might have a bit of trouble winding this watch. I have pretty big fingers, but so far not too bad in terms of winding action. The case back is a display case back. In fact, this is a sapphire sandwich. The case back is held together with these 4 screws, so it's not a screw down case back. And since the crown is also not screwed down, this watch doesn't come with a lot of water resistance, 30 meters, but that should be enough for a dress timepiece like this, because this is clearly a dress watch. This watch also features a domed sapphire crystal with some AR coating. It is part of this sort of vintage-inspired design language that Baltic is going for. The other part of this vintage-inspired design language are the drilled lug holes, which I do appreciate, and it's a detail that you see on a lot of vintage watches. On some watches, the drilled lug holes work, on others don't. I think on this model particularly, it does work pretty well. The dial is clearly the star of the show. There are 3 different dials available: New York, Paris, and London. Each one is made out of different stone. This one is a green jade. That's why this watch has a higher price tag. On the bracelet, it's priced at €1,300, and on the leather strap, it's priced at €1,250. So definitely not a cheap watch. But I think if you like the look of this watch and if you want to have a stone dial, it is very unique. The design of this dial is very minimal. There's Baltic logo by the 12 o'clock position. You have applied indexes all around. No chapter ring, which I do appreciate. I think it makes the dial look a lot more balanced. There is a sub-seconds hand by the 6 o'clock position, and the way these indexes are applied and they float over the dial creates a pretty cool looking effect. The set of hands here is pretty standard. They are chamfered on the edges with a high polished finish, and the rest of the hands are finished with a satin finish. In terms of the color combinations, my favorite is actually this green jade, although the blue one looks really cool as well. Each version will be limited to 200 pieces, and if you're in Paris, London, or New York, you can stop by their showroom and pick one of these watches up in person, or you can pick them up online. All 3 versions will be available online, but only the version for each city will be available in that showroom. So for example, if you're in Paris, you cannot pick up the London version. You have to buy them online. So I thought it was kind of interesting. These watches come on either a leather strap or a mesh bracelet, and why I call it a bracelet and not a strap, I think it has enough of a bracelet-like quality. It kind of reminds me of the mesh bracelet from Omega, since it comes with sort of this integrated lug design, which kind of fits into the case perfectly. It's not the straight lugs. I'm glad that Baltic took this extra step and created a specific strap for this case. They could have been lazy and just done straight lugs, but of course, if you want to charge higher prices, you have to pay attention to details. As far as the clasp, it's pretty simple, and you can always get a perfect fit because you have these notches on the underside, so you can get the fit perfect to your wrist. I also like the fact that this bracelet has quick release pins, which makes it very easy to change it for the leather strap. The one negative that I have about this mesh strap is the fact that these quick release pins kind of dig into your wrist. It's not too bad, but you do notice it. It takes some getting used to. So if you have a sensitivity to that sort of thing, maybe opt out for the leather strap as opposed to having it on this mesh bracelet. And when I put this watch on the leather strap, it totally changed the character of the watch. I actually think I preferred on the leather strap over this mesh bracelet. And if you also prefer the look of the leather strap, you can save yourself €60. On the wrist, the watch looks pretty good. I have about a 7¼ inch wrist, and I think on my size of the wrist, it looks good, but I think that's the limit. If you have a wrist larger than 7½ inches, this watch will probably look too small on your wrist. So do keep that in mind. Also, if you do buy this watch on the mesh bracelet, the bracelet kind of curves out. So if you have a small wrist or if you're a female, might not be the best idea to get it on the mesh bracelet. Maybe get it on the leather strap for that best fit. And on the leather strap, it looks great. It fits really well on the wrist. And I think once again, it transforms the look of this watch completely. These watches are powered by the manual wind ETA caliber 7001, which has 17 joules. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it has 42 hours of power reserve. It's a very slim movement. It's also a reliable movement. And Baltic has gone the extra step of decorating the movement. You even see their logo on some parts of the movement. A lot of times you have watches with the display case backs where movements are not even worth looking at. Well, I don't think that's the case here. These movements are very handsome. Overall, I think Baltic did a good job with this watch. I like the limited collection aspect of it and each dial being tied to a different city. I also like the fact that these watches have stone dials. It's something unique, something you don't often see from watches. On the other hand, it's not a cheap watch, €1,300. You have to really like this look and really be a fan of Baltic. And if you are, and if you pick up one of these watches, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think overall it's pretty solid. I appreciate you watching this video all the way until the end. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more reviews like this in the future, and let me know what you think about this Baltic. Are you picking one up? Are you letting this one go? Leave your thoughts below. I always enjoy reading your comments. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.